was coming to his new team. What are you expecting, I guess, to see when he gets back in this lineup?
Well, we're hoping that he plays tomorrow, right? And then we're going to have to be a little patient with him. He's missed a lot of time. The game has ramped up a lot from when he was playing in early October. The speed of the game, everyone's on top of their game now. So we're going to have to be patient with him, and we'll work him in slowly. If he can play, we got to start with that. It's not 100% he's in tomorrow. We're all hoping he's going to play. If he plays, then we'll start him probably on the fourth line, but get him on the power play and see how he's doing. Now, I say that, but if we see he's fitting right in, he's picked up right where he left off, then we'll move up his minutes.
The power play, which of course is talked a lot about the power play, can he be a real disruptive force and a real big boost to that group?
It gives you a totally different look when he's on the ice, and we saw it early in the year. He made that backhand pass to KC like he's a big man around the net. That's hard to move out of there. You can say, go to the net, but you've got to be big and strong and physical and have that desire to stay there. And he has all that. Plus, he has great hands. He hangs on to the puck. He doesn't throw it blind. He does a lot of good things down around the net. And when there's no play, he uses the half-wall guys really well, and he has good timing of when to step in front of the goalie and when to step off the side as a passing option. So he brings a lot to the power play.
And just one more for me on him, but we knew about the depth of this group. So what does it say? You lose a guy of his quality so early in the year, and his team is, obviously continued to go very well, scoring a lot of goals, and other guys stepped up. Just speaks to the depth, I guess.
The balance, yeah, really like the balance. It allows line scored a lot of big goals. Vladdy scored a lot of big goals. Mark and Casey have been doing it as well. The defense have 10. But I do know when our offense goes down, our D aren't involved enough. And that's something that we preach every day, and we work on it again today, getting that weak side D coming up and getting him a lot more involved. It's one thing for him to be up there. It's another thing for the forwards to get used to looking for him again. We're coming in now. We're two-tunnel vision that way, and usually the most dangerous guy is coming up behind you, so we've got to get our D a lot more involved.
We've heard quite often about the depth of this team this year and how it's such a strength. Last year you had Wheels and PLD who are gone. You bring in 3 different guys, but one of those guys has been injured basically since the beginning of the season, and Kupari as well. What do you think that's lended to your depth that, while it's not necessarily so many people coming in versus people who went out, but just what's happened that has made this team so much deeper this season?
Well, picking up Vladdy and Nino are just as important to us, right? And we saw, now you see how well Nino's fitting in with Adam, right, and Apple. So, we really didn't do that last year very much. We did it at times, and all of a sudden, it right now it's working. We didn't know the chemistry between Vladdy and Nick until we put them together in the playoffs. So those 2 guys have helped us as well. And with Alex, and you can move him right wing, left wing, as we know. We've had him up in the top line all year with the injury to Gabe. So there's good balance. And there's good depth now, and just as important those things is the versatility of all those players we just talked about. Nino can play right wing, left wing. Vladdy can play right wing, center, left wing, kill penalties, play power play. Alex can do all the same things. So it's the depth, it's the balance, but it's the versatility of those players that we brought in that really helps us.
When a battle like last night is between 2 upper echelon teams, a lot of it is about trying to take the other team out of their structure. So I wonder what you've thought this year about your team in the games that they don't win. You're not going to win them all, but how well you think your team is sticking to its structure this season in the tough moments.
I thought it was better last night than the previous game against Dallas. I did. You go back to those first couple of 5 minutes of that first period, like you got Mo walking right down, nobody near him. You got Vladdy all alone in front of the net. He gets a tip, so one of those goes in. It changes the way they have to play, like we talked about last night. We just didn't get that goal. But That being said, the second period, there wasn't much happening at all. The third period, we had a lot more opportunities. So the will and the fight to stay in the game and keep coming at them was there last night as well. We didn't get rewarded. Give Jake a lot of credit. He didn't have to make a ton of saves, but he made some very key saves, and you hear me talk a lot about timely saves, and he did a good job for them last night.
After that first Dallas game, Arnie had talked about like the learning opportunity that was there, and you're talking about seeing lessons kind of learned. I wonder what you're seeing from this team this season in its capacity to like take the lessons and build on them this year.
Well, that's what we're working on every day, every game. So, Dallas has been playing well. We go into Nashville, they had won 4 in a row. Edmonton's coming in, obviously playing the best hockey of the season so far. So, but it's the focus has to be on us to make sure that we play like we did in Florida, like we've been playing really well, and we get those chances to score like we did last night, score early, so that gives us a little bit of a boost and gets us going. So we can handle any team coming in the way we're playing, as long as we play Winnipeg Jet hockey.
Rick, just going back to that goalie interference challenge last night, it certainly looked like there was contact to Connor's mask. Did you get any further, beyond them saying it's not goalie interference, did you get any explanation as to why?
No. They don't have to explain it to you. They're not going to explain it to you. That was made very clear to us. You can challenge, but we're not going to come over here every night and give you our explanation for it. And that's something that it's getting harder and harder to understand the goalie interference. It is, and it's a big gamble now. It's got to be so blatant. In fact, a guy like running at your goalie, knocking him over, it's got to be so blatant that before you can challenge that anymore. Like last night, the Pav's stick got in and he turned his head, and just as if you talk to Hell, he's just about ready to make, stop the pass. He knows it's coming, and all of a sudden he gets his head turned. The league says that's a legitimate goal. We live with it. Is it the right challenge? Yeah. Are we going to challenge it the next time? I don't know. Because it's just so hard to understand what it is, and regardless, you got to live what their final call is. But it's going to have to be very blatant from now on in before we call it.
Maybe this is an obvious question, but if a player's stick is hitting your goalie in the head, would you like to see, if not goalie interference, a high sticking penalty called?
Well, we'll go back to Dallas last year. Right? Helly's laying down on his stomach, and his helmet's 5 feet away from him, and they're shooting the puck into an empty net, and there's no goalie interference. So, again, we're just going to have to be a little more careful. But at the same point, as a coach, you got to stick up for your goalie. He thinks it's interference, and you got to support him, but now we're walking that fine line, and we're gonna talk to the goalies about it. Like, we're just going to have to be very, very careful what we're doing. It doesn't mean we're not supporting you. It means it's got to be really, really blatant.
And just one on tomorrow night. Safe to say the Edmonton team that's coming in here tomorrow might be feeling a little different than the one that we were kind of all watching a week or so ago. 3 straight wins, and Connor McDavid, I think, has got 12 points in the last 3.
Yep, he's rolling. I've already talked to Adam. So, listen, they're playing great hockey. You've got the world. We know how great those guys are. They're feeling good about themselves. So, it's another big challenge. There are no easy games in this league. There are none. And sometimes your schedule works for you that you're playing a team that isn't playing very well. Right? Sometimes you're playing teams that they're right on top of their game, and right now that's what our schedule is telling us. Florida was a hell of a game by us, but they had been playing well. Nashville had been playing well. Dallas, obviously, now these guys. So it all depends when you play in teams. So if you played Edmonton a couple weeks ago, you're seeing a different animal tomorrow night than what you saw like 2 weeks ago, like you said. Good, thanks.